Forgetful Elephant Story. There once lived an elephant named Peter, who was the most forgetful elephant ever. It was almost as if he could never remember anything when the need be. He would often forget where he had kept his things, or he would forget if he had breakfast or not and end up having it twice. Sometimes he would even forget what he said to his friends and even the favorite character in his favorite movie. But the worst part of it all was that Peter would often forget the plans he had made with people. He was notorious for always being late. That wasn't the case. He remembered to actually show up at plan. But most of his friends had accepted Peter the way he was, except Susie. Susie was Peter's wife, and she was growing tired of Peter ditching plans all the time. Of course, Peter never intended to miss their hangouts, but somehow he would always end up forgetting. This made Susie feel less important in his life day by day. One day, Susie met Peter and said, "It is our anniversary tomorrow, and we will go out for dinner. If you're not on time, we are done for good." Peter was worried that he would upset Susie this time. There had to be a way for him to remember. He took out a red ribbon from his drawer and tied it around his trunk. He thought that next morning, when he would look at the ribbon, it would remind him of the dinner and he would not miss it. That night, Peter went to sleep thinking he was onto something. But the next morning, when Peter woke up and looked at himself in the mirror, he saw the red ribbon. But he had forgotten what it was for. He knew it had to remind him of something, but he no longer knew what. Peter panicked and panicked. He paced all around his house, trying to figure out what it was that he was forgetting, but to no avail. He called all his friends and all the places he usually went to asking if he had a commitment with anyone. Yet there were none. Soon night took over the sky and Peter decided that he would ask Susie what the ribbon was for. She must remember. Peter rushed to Susie and expected her to remember, but even before Peter had the chance to ask her, she embraced him and gave him the biggest smooch he had ever gotten in all his elephant years. He had arrived in time for the dinner, and they ended up going out and having a lovely night, full of love, laughter, and fun. But Peter never found out what the ribbon was for.